Wow, that was powerful. If that didn't hit you, it totally hit me. I mean, it's an effect that can hit anybody. I mean, like a right in the face, right? It's a video that gets impactful. 821 campaign, they've been doing some amazing work all around the nation and globally. Christine Kane and her husband are a Christian organization working around the globe with 821 campaign, and they've been doing some amazing work. I'm thankful to them for letting us have an amazing video. And
Powerful
thank you.
video.
I mean, it's just a powerful, powerful video. So thank you so much for
Yeah, big
821 for letting us have this. Thank you for the ladies who are here, for gracing us and for letting us have their time, literally their time, because there are amazing ladies. These are some amazing, amazing ladies. So, human trafficking and sex and labor trafficking, this is just something that really affects all of us. I first of all wanted to say there was another lady that was going to be here. Before we even begin, I do want to say to Jenny Williamson, we are thinking of you from Courage Worldwide. She is sick, and we do want to. We are praying for you. All right, Jenny, we're praying for you. If you're listening to this, we're praying for you. We know that you are sick. I know that she's feeling sick, but we do want to pray for her. And so the two lovely ladies that are here, Salah, thank you so much for being here. Welcome. From Apache Chaya, and the other wonderful woman who is here, great friend of mine, Michelle Jewsbury from Unsilenced Voices. So before we begin, we want to go ahead and say your bios, just so everybody knows who you are. Michelle Jewsbury is an international philanthropist. She's a speaker, an author, a coach who has traveled the world, an advocate for the less fortunate. In August of 2016, Michelle focused on her efforts as an ending domestic violence. She desired to help victims of domestic violence, came from a personal experience in her own relationship. In July of 2017, Michelle founded Unsilenced Voices, a 501c3 nonprofit focusing on inspiring challenge in communities around the globe by encouraging victims to break free and survive to speak up about domestic violence and sexual assault. She has since completed and published her personal memoirs called But I Love Him. Recognizing as a valuable resource in the speaking industry, Michelle Jewsbury is the go-to professional speaker who uses her story of survival as an encouragement and motivation for others. By using reflective techniques in her presentation, Michelle creates an aha moment that leads to transformation. Attendees leave inspired, revitalized, and ready to pursue their journey with renewed focus. With a confident yet calming approach, Michelle's story makes a lasting impression on the audience and gives them the power to take their lives back. For a free gift, don't forget to text UNITE to 268-786.
And our second guest we have with us, and I want to make sure I pronounce the name right, Selah Tulilio.
Yes.
Did we say that right? Selah.
Selah. Okay. Selah is a Pacific Islander community organizer at Asian Pacific Islander Chaya, API Chaya, empower survivors of gender-based violence and human trafficking to gain safety, connection, and wellness. They build power by educating and mobilizing, South Asian, Pacific Islander, and all immigrant communities to end exploitation, creating a world where all people can heal and thrive. Welcome, Selah. I still didn't say it
Thank you, ladies, very much for introducing us. Good job.
So, ladies, how are you today?
Doing well, doing well. It's about 12 o'clock Pacific time, so been busy morning so far. Today is the first day of October, which means it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So yay that we're doing this on October 1st. We need to bring more awareness to all kinds of abuse topics.
Yes. And human sex and labor trafficking, that's a difficult subject, It's not like we're bringing an awareness to something that isn't difficult. Man, human sex and labor trafficking, that's a toughie. That's a toughy subject, I was actually bringing it up to evangelists, how when we're dealing with stuff like labor trafficking or sex and human trafficking, this is not like we're dealing with little topics,
right?
Not
everyday stuff.
We're trying to
everyday stuff we don't hear about
every day. This is not like a lot of people don't talk about these subjects. Right. So how can we educate everyone out in the public right now about human sex and labor trafficking? Educate those out there.
I'm just going to speak from like a Pacific Islander organizer. I think one way that I feel like a lot of the reasons why, besides the fact that it's a taboo topic and no one wants to talk about it, is also not very many people know the different types of human trafficking. Sex trafficking is a huge thing out here, and I think like it's important to also educate our communities on like why it's so huge and the impact of like our current system and power and how capitalism actually, this idea of capitalism actually perpetuates human trafficking, because these folks are people who are trying to survive, like just understanding that knowledge. I think with our PI community, sorry, and I would speak from the PI community just because that's my line of work, but
that's fine.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. We all have a different language. Latino, so it's okay.
Like a lot of like access to language, like a lot of folks who migrate out into the U.S., they don't have access to language. They don't have access to actually educating themselves. I mean, I even think of the folks during the fires in California who are migrant workers who are working out in the field. And it's so ignored. Like, I don't know. I'm starting to feel guilty every time I reach for a vegetable or fruit now, because just knowing that, and a lot of people don't know where their groceries come from. But just going back to your question, I think really just, I guess, having that conversation, not just with your own groups, but making that conversation or the information of human trafficking accessible to everyone. Because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's not only is it like a heavy topic, like you all mentioned, but also people are so unaware. Like, just people are so unaware. Sorry, I don't need to pick up.
No, listen, that's why we're here. We're here to talk about these subjects. And I think what it is that we don't discuss these subjects in different arenas.
Yes.
We don't. I think everybody thinks, oh, well, it just happens in just this culture. But it doesn't. It happens. And I think, Michelle has traveled in different areas. And so she's seen it firsthand in lots of different areas. And so she knows, just give us a little bit of tidbit of what you've seen, what you know, what you've experienced firsthand. Michelle?
Yeah, definitely. So for your viewers who don't know me, I am a survivor of domestic violence. And because of what I went, propelled me into this movement, into stopping not only domestic violence, but human and sex trafficking. And we partner with a lot of organizations. So I'm the CEO and founder of Unsilenced Voices. And we partner with organizations that deal with human trafficking. One of our main partners in California, it's interesting that you were talking about California because I live in LA. And one of our main partners is called Beyond Freedom International. And the CEO of that organization is actually a survivor of sex trafficking. She was trafficked for 10 years up and down the 405 freeway. Wow. And what's crazy is people don't understand how prevalent this really is. I mean, this is a $32 billion a year industry. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of money. So to piggyback off of what she was saying, it's, it is capitalism, but the people who are doing it are not good people, right? They're criminals because this is a criminal act. And when you look at human trafficking worldwide, you see over 300 million children being trafficked a year. Not to say, the 200,000 in the U.S. aren't enough. It's unbelievable that we've allowed this to go on for so long. We've partnered with an organization in Nepal called Happy Children. And in Nepal, they actually have to go into talk to lords and in these really nice mansions and homes where these people have bought kids for labor and sex trafficking. And this organization actually goes back in and buys these kids back at over 600 euros per head to get them out of that situation. That's just one small example of what we're looking at. Human trafficking, it's the number one consumer of human trafficking in the world are white American men. So what we really need to do is stop the Johns. And how do you stop the Johns? Through education. Telling them that sex worker off the street, that is actually somebody being trafficked. Because the mass majority of sex workers, especially in the United States, are there because they're forced. So go ahead, Cynthia. So,
No. I'm still listening. I want to listen. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's just, I become very passionate about this issue because I experienced abuse firsthand. And when you experience something, I guess more credibility. I don't want to say credibility, that's the wrong word, but if you experience and go through something, then you can teach. Then you have a platform to do it, right? And I have seen, like you said, been to Guatemala, I've been to Kenya, I've been to Sierra Leone, Ghana, and India. And, I travel a lot. I go to first world countries and travel as well. And you see it firsthand, even driving. I recently drove from Los Angeles up to Santa Cruz, and we stopped at a gas station. At a gas station, there were girls there that were being trafficked. And people don't see it. You don't see what you don't know you're looking at. You don't know what you don't know. And the reason why you're having this is to educate people. Right. Because when you're in a truck stop, for example, and you see girls walking by with mini skirts, and oftentimes people will be like, oh, what are they doing? They're being forced to do that. And that's when we have to rescue.
And I think what it is that we don't know that people are being groomed. A lot of these young girls are being groomed for sex trafficking. A lot of young little boys, we think, oh, well, that's just a little boy and he's asking for candy. When we were in Honduras, we went there with our son. I went there with my son, and they were selling caramelos, what we call caramels. But they're being groomed for human sex and labor trafficking. And they are selling caramels. And they sell them for what we call cents, almost close to pennies. But there's somebody around the corner that's watching them, and they're grooming them. And some of them will be selling the caramels, and sometimes they will even sell them for more than that, for more than just the caramels, And so they're grooming them, They're grooming them sometimes for even sex acts, And here in the United States, they put them all in containers, those big drum containers. They put them all in there and bring them to the United States, and they've been caught in those drums, And so I think we need to bring awareness of what sex slavery really is, what human trafficking really is. I think that people don't even know that in Nevada, there's underground tunnels still that the police officers don't even know of, and in different cultures, like Salah, like yours, and like maybe like ours and the Latino cultures, I know in mine, when we look for somebody, it's, the fathers or whatever, they don't speak out. They don't want to speak out. And maybe other cultures as well. They keep it within their culture because they don't want to say anything. Now, I know that you ladies have probably seen lots of things. What things can you bring out to the audience so that they can know what things they can look for, so that people can be aware of? So if they know something, they see something, to speak out. Oh, I'm sorry. That was one of hers. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, I'll quickly talk. I don't want to take up all the time, of course. I'm going to give an example of something that happened overseas, and then I can piggyback and bring that here to the United States. Before I started Unsilenced Voices, I was interviewing for a nonprofit organization called Art and Abolition. They are based in the United States. They were having their monthly board meeting in Oakland. So I flew up to Oakland to be with them, talk with them. And they work in Kenya. And they work with young children who sell themselves on the side of the streets for a bag of rice. And they sell themselves because they are forced into it, because their parents can't feed them, don't have caregivers, they're starving. And what's really sad is oftentimes these small children, we're talking 6, 7 years old, will be on the side of the street, and a John will come up to them. And one example that the CEO told me was that they decided to put this little girl in a suitcase because where they were taking her, it was illegal to bring in children. And they put her in a suitcase, took her upstairs, and tied her to the bed. And there were multiple men throughout the evening, and she was supposed to get paid, and of course she did not get paid. That happens all the time. And this is one example of what children are experiencing in our world. It's one example of the injustice that happens, but the nonchalant, not give a flying F about our kids from the Johns. And bringing that to the United States, I took what's called CSEC, the Commercial Sexual Exploitation of Children. I took a few classes with Nola Brantley here in California. And she talked about working the streets. And when she was working the streets, she had a friend who was also involved in human trafficking, who had gotten bit by a spider. And she was having a fever up to 102, 104 degrees. And her pimp still made her go out. And they covered her bug bite, put her in a mini skirt, put a wig on her. And she still had Johns pick her up. And I'm sure at the touch, you could feel that her temperature was over 102 degrees.
Wow. Wow.
At some point that evening, she passed out. Her pimp picked her up and dropped her at the front of a hospital. These are just examples, small examples of what happens worldwide. And what we need to be aware of is when you see a girl or a young boy who's being held by somebody, an adult figure, holding their hand through the airport, looking scared, make sure you try to approach that girl or that little boy. If she goes to the bathroom, go up to her. Do you need help? There's a reason why in the back of stalls now there are phone numbers in most stalls. If you need help, call this number. There was a lady on a plane. I read an article. She was a stewardess, right? Is that what you were talking about? Yep. And yep, exactly. And she had noticed that there was a gentleman.
The girl was uncomfortable sitting with an old man.
Yep.
So she said when she was, you know how you want juice, coffee, whatever. She said she whispered to the little girl, "Go to the bathroom." She had went in. The lady, the stewardess had went in the bathroom and wrote a note. "Do you need help?" When she told the little girl to go to the bathroom, the little girl told her yes.
Right.
So they were able to call the police and have the police waiting when the airplane landed, and that saved that little girl from getting human trafficked. So we have, and I was going to ask Michelle, what 1 or 2 flag can we look for to be able to recognize? Because that stewardess knew, she recognized something. She recognized that the little girl was uncomfortable. Now the older man wasn't saying anything, but I guess from the little girl's face or her posture, she could tell that something was wrong. So we need to be more aware to be able to just look at somebody and see that something just doesn't look right. So what can we do to do that?
Yeah, there's
Pay
training.
attention, right? Pay attention, especially right now during COVID. People are not even looking at each other because we're so scared we're going to get the dang virus. What we need to do is pay attention to people. Look at somebody in their eyes. You can tell, if I were looking at all of you guys in person, I could tell if something was wrong. I could tell if you were scared. I could tell if you were sad. You had tears in your eyes. Pay attention to your surroundings and the people around you. That's the big thing I can say, especially young kids.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I know it's a for all of us it might be, and for Salah, I wanted to ask you, how can we tell when it's different for Pacific Islanders and for Latinos like us? How can we tell for us when it's a little bit different, when the language barrier is different for us? How can we tell?
I think a lot of times, as Michelle was saying, a lot of it is reading body language. Especially, so in our culture, eye contact is very important. Like when someone is speaking to you, eye contact, they're like, look at me when I'm talking to you. But a lot of times you can tell something is off when they're being submissive. But like when they're avoiding eye contact, they feel uncomfortable. Like you could just tell by their body language. They don't want to be around a certain person. I don't know. One thing that I noticed with children survivors is that when they are around someone, I think it's like in our culture, it's like go and hug your relative, go and kiss them or whatever. And a lot of times, you can tell which one's the iffy relatives when the kids are like, no, I don't want to go to, like, it's only like, and I don't know, I think something that parents is not doing in our culture is forcing their children to sit on a lap, or like forcing your children to kiss the stranger that you haven't seen in a long time.
Right.
Yeah, but also I think it's still, even though those are like red flags, I think it is still hard to like recognize when someone is being,
Yeah. So before we end this panel, I wanted to highlight both of you ladies. Before we end, Apache Chaya, I wanted to make sure that I say that correctly. Am I saying? Okay. I don't know if you guys have anything in the works coming up. I don't know if you guys are doing, because usually Domestic Violence Month, you usually have lots of programs that are coming up, rallies, vigils, and so what is coming up in the works, coming up soon?
We do have Generation Festival, so something that our organization might do with our Southeast Asian, and Pacific Islander community is kind of bridge the relationship between the different generations. So we do have a virtual intergenerational thing going on, and it's an ongoing event. The first one is on October 10th, and it's virtual. You'll find it on our website, apichina.org.
Awesome. I'm excited. Can you give us your 1-800 number in case somebody needs to reach out to you guys?
Give me 1 second. I might get in my email. I don't memorize it. I'm terrible. I haven't memorized
That's
it.
okay. Yes. If you want, you can also put it in the comment section.
Yeah, I'll put it on the comment section.
Awesome. That way, if anybody wants to reach out to you guys, they have that phone number and they can reach out in the comment section. Unsilenced Voices. I know, Michelle, I know you have lots of things coming up. Yeah. I know that you have seminars that are coming up pretty soon, but let us know just a little bit that's coming up soon.
Yeah, so specifically with Unsilenced Voices, we've been able to expand to Rwanda, even during the pandemic. So we are now in Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Rwanda, and we are doing educational seminars over there and providing education. So we desperately need help. We are doing a fundraiser called Club Escape on October 17th. And what that is it's, in front of your computer, we're going to have a variety of different performers come in. We had an aerialist act last time. We're going to have her, comedian, musicians, you name it. And we're going to be raising money for Unsilenced Voices. Half the money will actually go to the performers, and half the money will be to Unsilenced Voices. I literally just got back from Denver and Chicago speaking about domestic violence, my story, and Unsilenced Voices. And I'm going to be speaking, on the 24th in Las Vegas at a 5D event. And then mid-November, I'm going to be Salt Lake City speaking about my story as well and helping other people overcome their challenges. And I'm on a handful of different summits. I can't even, 2 to 3 a week in October, it looks like. So I'll be posting that on my personal and professional Facebook pages. So you can find me at Michelle Jewsbury, Jewsbury. There's not very many of us out there, so you'll be able to find me pretty easy. And Michelle Jewsbury Speaks is my professional, and then of course Unsilenced Voices as well.
Awesome. And I hope that Guidance to a Go Hard will continue to keep in contact with Michelle Jewsbury and Unsilenced Voices, and that we will keep doing things with you. Hopefully one day soon we will have a summit or have a conversations with you so that we can train or do something and be able to have an amazing time with others and train others. It will be amazing to be able to do something with Miss.
Yeah, I have a great idea about it. So it's not the right platform to do this, but I do have a great idea about how we can collaborate and put something together.
Do not worry, we'll be here.
Yeah, right here.
I got you, my sister. I got you. My sister from another mother. Do not worry. I got you. Listen, wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Got you. All right. Well, thank you again, my human trafficking, sex trafficking, and human trafficking panel. You guys were amazing and so knowledgeable. You have no idea. All right, Domestic Violence Rally 2020. Keep on with us. Watch this video coming up. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Watch this video coming up.
Hey, Zach. It's me. I can't stop thinking about you. I know you've been waiting for this for a while. I wanted to give you something special. Who are you? Why are you doing this?